Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a reading on who your next romantic partner is, who's coming into your life next. Okay, and we have 3 piles to choose from, and just, 1, 2, 3, how it goes. I forgot. No, I didn't forget. I don't really know what these are. I meant to look it up, but I didn't. So, if you know, I don't know. I guess you could say it, but just pick which one looks right or feels right, and yeah, timestamps will be down below, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi, group 1. If you chose this green heart, I think this is ruby moissanite. I could be pronouncing that wrong. I could be getting the whole thing wrong. I truly, I knew at one point what it was, but, whatever. Either way, it's really pretty. It's very earthy. It feels very earthy. I feel like I'm in a garden, like the botanical gardens. I used to love going to the botanical gardens. I still do. I just haven't been back in a while. Anyway, it's so pretty. It's very, I'm getting a very earthy vibe from that. Very, like walk in the park kind of energy. Anyway, so we're going to be looking at who's coming next in your life. The focus is romantic, but these kinds of readings, anything can come through. But it is more romantic of a vibe. So we're going to start with tarot, like I usually do, and then we'll pick a few cards from the Oracle and see what comes through. So let's get into your reading. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I don't really have a set of questions that I'm going with. I'm kind of just seeing how the energy wants to. Actually, I want to do it one more time. How it wants to flow through. I actually did one of these readings a couple days ago for a personal reading, and it was very insightful, and it was a really fun reading. So I thought, why not just do it for the public? All right, so let's see who your next romantic partner is going to be. Let's take this one, because that wanted to come out. Yeah. All right, let's start there and see. All right, we have the 7 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles. Wow, a lot of Pentacles. Strength, and the 9 of Wands. Okay. Actually, want to get one more for this. Yeah. So this one. The 3 of Cups. Okay. Just make sure you can see it. Alright. So right away when I pulled the 7 of Pentacles, I heard someone you've been waiting for. Now with the King of Pentacles coming up right after, this does feel like a specific person. This feels like someone you used to know. Now I'm hearing that song in my head. Do you remember that song? Somebody that I used to know. That's not the vibe that I'm getting here, but it's interesting that came up. At least not in regards to the message of the song. This song was about breaking. It's not relevant to your reading right now. So yeah, it feels like someone. Okay. Someone may have gone away that you were interested in. I keep getting this waiting. Maybe someone was in a relationship and you were kind of waiting for that relationship to end. That's a funny vibe to get. It's a little naughty, waiting for another relationship to end. Yeah, I can see that, because we do have the Three of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. And we have this like, wait, so okay, so it does feel like you may have met someone who wasn't in a connection already, and I don't get you interfering in any way, but it's sort of like you knew that they just were not a good fit, or they didn't seem like they were very happy in that connection or fulfilled. I'm not getting like toxic or anything like that. No, it just feels like not a good fit, not a good match. But it's kind of a thing where they were in it for a long time. So, you know how there are some people who stay in relationships because it's comfortable and they know each other, and it actually winds up being more platonic in nature than romantic, because it's kind of died out, but they haven't really ended it. That's the situation I'm getting here for the next person coming into your life. I do get that you know them because you've seen them around for a while and you know a bit about their situation. With the Strength card, I see a connection between the two of you, but that hasn't really been able to be nurtured. There is a connection. I feel like you feel it very strongly. Not to say that they don't, but it's sort of like they had a guard up because they were in a connection already, you know? And so it was sort of like, yeah, it feels like your connection was very friendly in nature. Like you may have had some really cool conversations, and I think you would have been like, damn, this feels really good. This is a nice little setup here. But it's sort of like wrong time, not wrong place, but just like it wasn't the right time yet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it just feels like you were kind of waiting to see what would come of this situation, because it's like you knew that the connection wasn't really going to be long lasting, and it's sort of just kind of like waiting to see how it plays out. But you still felt connected to this person, in the sense that, and it wasn't, I'm not getting like this obsessive nature or this overwhelming like, oh my god, we're supposed to be together. It actually feels pretty calm and relaxed. There's a lot of like trust here, where you're sort of like, I know what I feel with this person. I know that what they're in right now isn't going to last forever because it just doesn't work. I'm going to see how this plays out, and then see, you know, if we can explore something together. I want to pull more cards to see what comes out of that. And right away this flipped over, the Queen of Swords, and I want to see how you two, you know, begin something. How does that work? Okay, we have quite a few, and okay, so this to the side, these all came out together as a group. So the Page of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. Let's grab one more card. And we have the Ace of Cups, which is pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck we have the Five of Pentacles. And let's see, is that focus? Yeah. And that's giving me the vibe of the connection that they were already in. Okay, so with the Queen of Swords, there's a separation that happens. I'm not sure if they initiated, or it kind of, you know what it feels like? It feels like it just dies. Like there does feel like an acknowledgement that it's over. Okay, there it is. There's an acknowledgement in the connection that they may already be in, or that they're in now, or whatever, before you two get together. There's an acknowledgement of it just not working anymore. It feels very amicable, very mature, and it's just the acknowledgement, the awareness, and just the conversation. That's what it is. There's a conversation that needs to be had, because it's like they've been walking around this situation for so long, when they both sort of realize it's just not working anymore. So they finally sort of sit down, have the conversation, and just come to the conclusion that it's done, and it's probably been done for a while. And that sort of frees them up, and there starts the initiation period between the two of you. And I really like it because they're presenting as the Page of Swords and you're presenting as the Page of Pentacles. And then we have this Ace of Swords right between you, which I really love, right? That's that spark, that's that clarity, that's the conversation, that's a new way of talking to each other, not this friendly way. It's like, oh, okay, I'm interested, you're interested, let's not that they're speaking for you, but there's an alignment here that you both know that, you know, you're interested in each other. I love that this page is looking back. This outline here, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see. It always reminds me of a person. It always reminds me of like a ghost of a person, or the fantasy of a person, the thought of a person. And this reading, it's making me think of them sort of looking back to a conversation they had with you, or an interaction they had with you, and thinking, I want to follow up on that. I want to kind of see where that's at. Now that I'm out of this situation, I want to see if there's something there. And clearly there is. And I love the way you present in this, where you're just sort of like, I've been waiting. That's following back to the Seven of Pentacles. It's like, I'm here, I'm ready. And it's not like this like eagerness, or this like, you know, it's not coming off as like desperation or anything. It's just like, I already knew this, so let's like, I'm meeting you. There's a match here. You both present the same way towards each other, and it's a very new and exciting and refreshing energy. And I want to say that it feels very comfortable right away. It feels very even with the Nine of Pentacles, I'm looking at the bird here with the envelope. It's sort of like you were waiting for this message. There's a sense of like, you see, I knew this was going to go this way. I knew it was going to happen this way. There's a sense of validation for you, where you sort of just like, I was waiting for this day to come. And you were right. And so then we have this Ace of Cups, which is such a beautiful card to get, right, for the beginning of a relationship. It basically represents the beginning of a relationship, of like, you know, of you having such pure feelings towards each other, pure intentions, very genuine with one another. And it's just like, it's the Love Blossoms card, right? It's the beginning of something really beautiful. There's a very peaceful energy about this person. They feel very, they may be older, because I'm getting a strong feeling of maturity, of wisdom. They're sort of the type of people who kind of sit back and watch everything unfold. You know, they watch the crowd. They don't like a lot of drama. They don't like a lot of chaos. They like peace. They like quiet. They like just hanging out and just chilling. And I get the same feeling from you. There's such an alignment here. You two feel like the same type of personalities. You just match. And I'm getting the same feeling from friendships as well. I'm getting that you two hang around the same types of people. There's such a similarity between the two of you. That may have been why you were kind of waiting to see what would happen, because it just seemed like such a perfect fit. And I am getting that it is a perfect fit. It's really nice. It's really nice. It feels very free flowing, you know, very smooth. Very smooth. So I want to get some clarifiers from the Oracle deck. Okay. And let's see, I don't know, this may be advice, it could be, you know, the nature of the connection. don't know. See, we have change. Yeah, well, that makes sense, right? With their situation. Blessed day. That reminds me of like when you find out of like where like when it happens when he gets out of that connection. It's like, oh my god, the day has finally come. It's a blessed day. That's so funny. We have overcome fear, and then rebirth. This is beautiful. You know what? That could have been something that was hindering them from leaving that connection. That's what I was getting before. It just was really comfortable. And it was sort of like the having to start over again, having to, what if you get into something that's really bad, It doesn't feel like an overwhelming sense of fear, though. It just feels more like as I said, they just feel very, like, calm and peaceful. They don't like to stir things up. They're very supportive in nature, and they don't want to hurt anybody. They're really sweet souls, and they're the type that when they commit, they commit. That makes so much sense with the King of Pentacles. That's such a committed, stable person. When they're in something, they're in it. That's not to say that that they would be in a toxic relationship, because they're very level-headed as well. Like I said, they come off as very mature and very wise. They're the type that if they feel like there isn't like a blatant reason to leave something, then they probably won't, because it just feels like they're giving up. And they don't like to give up. They're perseverers. You see that with the Nine of Wands, But when something isn't working, it just isn't working. And so it felt inevitable that connection would end, because it just wasn't working anymore, And it really was as simple as just a conversation to acknowledge it, because it feels mutual. It feels like they were both on the same page. And I feel like it was evident too, like, if you saw them outside or something, you could tell, you wouldn't think that they were together. They didn't give off that vibe, because it had fizzled out already. But I love that we have rebirth here, because that's where you come in, and that's where, because it does feel like a quick turnaround, and it's not like they're rushing into something new. It's just that this kind of already sparked up earlier on. So this was already in their mind. This was already sort of there, and it may have been a part of why they knew that conversation had to happen, because if that was still going strong, they wouldn't be referring back to you, in certain things, like thinking, I don't know, about like what you would like or what you would say or how that conversation went. I'm getting that you guys probably would have had a conversation that they kept thinking about, kept coming up in their mind. It was lingering. It stirred something up in them. And yeah, it's something that they had in their mind for a while. And it's really nice. This is a very blessed beginning to something new. It feels very refreshing. It feels very like kismet, like it's matching energies, and so it's sort of meant to happen because you go so well together. It's a really beautiful connection here. And that's all I'm saying for your reading today. I hope that you liked it. I hope that it resonated. And I truly, truly hope to see you in the next one. Okay? Bye, guys. If you chose the second gem, this is going to be your reading. I don't know what these are. I know I said it before already, but I really like this one. I don't know why, but it's giving me like brain waves. I don't know if that's what brain waves look like, but I feel like it just looks like a nervous system to me. It's so bizarre. Anyway, at some point I'll try to look up what these are again, but I don't know. Anyway, it's super pretty. Yeah. I'm also getting like the ocean meets the earth, like a beach or something. But not quite. Anyway. I'll put it over here so you can still see it. Okay, so this is your next romantic partner, your next connection you're going to be getting into. And yeah, we'll see what comes through. And this could be someone that you already know, or someone you're going to meet, someone from your past. Could really be anybody, right? Okay. Take this one. I think that's good for now. I might have picked more than I think we're good. Okay. So start with 3 of Wands. Okay. The 6 of Cups. Okay, you know what's funny? When I said someone from your past, I wasn't going to say it, and then something told me to say it, and then 6 of Cups comes up. And the Wheel of Fortune. So there's something to that. Even with the 3 of Wands, I can see that. The High Priestess, Page of Swords, and the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, this is definitely someone from your past. 1000%. And if there's no one in your past that you want to come back, then yeah, I would say to pick another group. Or this could be someone, I don't know, maybe even deeper from like a past life, because we do have those like higher kind of cards with the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune. So this could be someone from like a past life. This could be a past life connection. There's definitely a strong spiritual connection here. Definitely a strong spiritual connection. I mean, even just with the 6 of Cups and the High Priestess. But there's a sense of longing here. Like, you've always maybe felt connected to someone, and this can go both ways. This could be with someone from your past, or this could be someone from like that you haven't met yet, but that you know you've known in a past life, that you've had past lives with, and you've sort of been waiting to meet them. And this can come through in so many different ways. This could be maybe you've imagined a certain type of partner with certain qualities or traits, or you've had these sort of imagined interactions with someone. You know, you think about you meeting your dream person and it would sort of go like this or be like this. You know, you think of a movie that you've watched that you really resonate with, but you've never experienced, so you don't know why it hits you so deep. These are examples of having experienced this before in other lives. And that's sort of the vibe that I'm getting here. But this could also be someone that you knew a long time ago. This is not recent past. This is definitely a long time ago. And there was always a sense of what could have been. What could have happened. There's always, just occasionally you always go back to it and you think, how could that have gone differently? Or what would have happened if, you know, they were more available, I was more available, if our circumstances were more supportive, you know. That's what I get from the 5 of Pentacles, this what could have been energy, you know. But you two were always fated to come back together, to meet again. It feels like a very serendipitous meeting. And it's funny, I was saying this before, that this card, this Page of Cups, this outline here always reminds me of like a phantom person. Be it a person you're fantasizing about, or someone that you hope to meet, or someone with characteristics that you want. It always just kind of feels like thinking about the energy of someone. And sort of communicating with that energy in some way of just, I know that sounds weird, but just maybe, like I said, like fantasizing a meeting, or just being curious or wanting to know more, you know, having the intention of reaching out, something like that. But there's definitely a sense of meant to be, and this is someone definitely coming back from your past. That's pretty much all I'm getting from these cards. So I'm going to pull more cards about how you two come back together, or how you two meet. want to see where, where this comes from. Okay. Alright, we have the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, Ten of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Five of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So there's a sort of chance meeting between the two of you. I love this Two of Pentacles because it feels like a continuation of the Three of Wands, where you see the sailboat kind of going off or coming in. Either way, in this sense, I would see it as going away, and then you see these two boats sort of like on these like waves, and they feel like they're coming together. The Two of Pentacles makes me feel like you two are always connected, right? That's sort of what I was saying earlier, of this higher connection between the two of you, and that always being something that you feel or that you go back to in some way, and the Ace of Wands it's like this powerful meeting, this powerful beginning. It's instant. It is instant when you meet, that it's like different than what you've known before. It feels different. It feels big. It feels very overwhelming, but also very comfortable at the same time. Very familiar. Strong sense of familiarity. So although it's overwhelming, it's like an overwhelmingly good feeling of like, wow, this is nice, this is comfortable. I'm getting the sense that you've never felt very comfortable meeting someone right away. Like when you first meet someone, you take a little bit of warming up, to really get into the connection. And this is not just romantically, it's in all facets, be it work, school, friendships, acquaintances. There's always a warm-up period for you. But with this person, as soon as you meet, you're very comfortable with them. There's a sense of relaxation there. And that's I think that's your first clue on this being much different than anyone else you've ever interacted with. There's just that feeling. Even if this is someone that you've known, earlier in life, even, that can happen a lot when you meet someone from your past. There's a sense of like, oh, I gotta like prove something, or, you gotta make up for something, I don't know. And there's always like this weird awkwardness when you're like catching up. There isn't any of that. There's no awkwardness. It's just, you get on very well, very quickly. And it just feels like a lot. I think, so the two of you may have a lot going on in your professional lives, maybe even personal lives as well. It feels like there's a lot of outside noise, but when you two to come together, it gets very quiet. It's very calm. It's like a sense of reprieve, like like you two go into your own world when you speak. And it's even if you're in a room full of people, when you two talk, everything else gets quiet. Everything else is calm. And so there's this strong feeling of you create something. It's like a different realm when you two come together. It's really beautiful. And it's something that you two want to follow up with right away. Like there's a strong, with the Ace of Pentacles, there's a sense of I don't want to say commitment. It's not like you two meet and boom, you're together. But there's a sense of reliability. Like you two very much want to see where this goes. Like there's no waiting period. There's no like trying to figure it out. There's no like, oh, I don't know. There's no guessing games. It's like you both are very clear on your interest in each other. And so it starts off really, really solid. Really solid. And you have two aces here. and it just feels very supportive. Like there's something bigger bringing you two together. It's very passionate, but it's also very stable. It's a stable kind of passionate. It's not like one of those hot and heavy lovers and then, okay, it dies out. All right, that was fun. Bye. This has long lasting power to it. There's definitely something bigger at hand. I know that sounds kind of weird to say. Like, what is that? It's just something. There's a soul attachment here. You two are meant to do something together on a soul level. That could be creating a family. That could be creating a business. That could just be creating experiences, honestly. It doesn't have to be like this outside thing. It's just something that you two share together that is very profound. And you're going to learn a lot. There's a strong sense of evolution with each other. You two are going to grow tremendously together. And that gives me the sense that you will be together for a long time. Now, you can have these experiences in short periods, but that's not very often that happens. And I'm not really getting that with you either. I'm getting a longer type of connection. This could be someone that you spend the rest of your life with, or someone that you continuously go back to. Because there is a lot of outside noise. So there could be a thing where your work takes you away for a little bit, like you travel for work or something like that, or maybe for family. But it just feels like two magnets. Like no matter what happens, you two are stuck together. And if you part, you always come back together. There's always a sense of you always find each other. You always live some part of your life together. Yeah. Yeah, this feels like you were always meant to be together. And you've always felt that on some level. Like there was this person that you were waiting to meet. And they were waiting for you too. This is a mutual feeling. This sort of unexplained type of connection, type of feeling. Alright. So we're gonna go into some oracle cards to see if there's anything else that wants to come through, or advice or clarification. Right here. Alright. We have growth of energy. See that word growth? That's what I was feeling. And then you have the eggs. It's really beautiful. It just feels like something, you two create something, some sort of like different world or different way. I think that whatever you two, if you create a family together, it's going to be very different than the families you come from. Because it feels like a new direction, a completely new way of being, a new way of living. It could even be off the grid, because I heard that. It doesn't have to be, but it could be. We have healing energy. Yeah. You see that tree? And you see the roots, and you see, I believe is that Metatron's cube? I know there's a lot of a lot of symbolism in this deck, and I'm not fully aware of all of it, but the way I'm looking at this now, this just feels like a whole different world, right? And the roots, and that's what I'm getting. I'm getting you two have ties that go way back. I'm talking like lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, and you always find each other because you're part of each other. You could even see, like, I don't know if you can see, you see here the tree? It's one big tree, but it kind of looks like there's two, like there are two that merge together. That's what it feels like. Like you two are part of each other's experiences, of each other's soul experiences, karmic cycles, this level of growth. And karmic cycles isn't just bad, it's both good and bad. This is just karma is just soul experiences, really, soul lessons that we have to go through. And your two, it's like you both just are meant to go through these things together. Rebirth. That's what I've been saying. You just keep going. Like you're always going to find each other. Always. No matter what. When one thing ends, you find this is becoming more of a past life thing where you just have this deep soul bond and you're always going to find each other no matter what. Financial security. And we just see that with the Nine of Pentacles and even the Ace of Pentacles. But I'm getting it a little bit more than that. Yes, of course, they can be financially well off. You can be financially well off. Definitely together, strong sense of security. What I'm getting from this card for both of you, though, is seeing the Five of Pentacles here, seeing the Nine of Pentacles here, and then the Ace of Pentacles. This is feeling this sense of lack before you meet. And could that be financial? Sure, but what I'm getting is more so just in a personal way of just the way you feel in your relationships, the way you feel in your life. There's always a sense of something missing, like a missing piece. No matter what you do, no matter who you interact with, you can meet someone and it could check off every box, but still something is missing. When you two find each other, you two meet, there it is, that missing puzzle piece. It's like, oh, okay, it was you that I've been connecting to. It was you that had that extra little bit, and it doesn't feel, you can say, I don't want to say that you two complete each other as if you're not whole within yourself, because the type of connection that you have is very evolved, and so in that case you would already be whole together. There's a sense of choosing to go through these experiences together because you help each other, you grow with each other, you bring out the best in one another. It's a very, very supportive energy with healing energy here. You two just, you give each other what you need to be your best, to continue on, to persevere, to get through the difficult times. It just gives you that extra, I don't know, like superpower or something to get through these things that if you were on your own or if you were with someone else would be a lot more difficult to go through. Not impossible, but just a lot more difficult. And it's just going to feel like, I keep seeing like this mathematical problem where you're trying to get the answer and you can't because there's a missing component. That's the feeling that I get with your connection. You two fill in the blank spaces for each other. And that's what a beautiful thing that is. But that's all I'm seeing for this reading. And I hope that it gave you what you needed, what you wanted. I hope that it resonated. And I truly hope to see you in the next one. Okay? Bye, guys. Hi, Group 3. If you chose the third gem, which I think this one is moss agate. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. And this one is actually my favorite one out of all of them. I love this one. It's kind of hard to really pick up what it looks like. Like you can see, it's like a heart within a heart. This makes me feel like I'm looking at Earth from like a bird's eye view. I don't know, like those, like you see the oceans and the bits of land, and just, I really, really love this one. It just feels like, I don't know. It's like really beautiful. It makes me feel like, yeah, like the ocean washing up on some rocks. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna at some point look up what these are. It even has a little opening here that kind of looks like a heart too. Can you see that? It's a little blurry, but you can kind of see it. Yeah. Oh, that right there looks like a triangle, but here, like in person, there's like a little bit of a space there. All right. It's like a little opening to the heart. Put it here. Okay, so we're gonna start with tarot and then pull a couple of oracle cards and see what comes through. So your next partner, next person coming into your life, who could they be? Let's see. And it's funny, I just got like hot right now. I have a sweater on and I was fine before, but for some reason I just felt a bit warmer. That's an interesting thing. Maybe you're in some warm weather. I don't know. I'll take these two. How many is that? 4? See who's coming in next for you. All right. We have the Emperor. So when I turned it over, just like super strong energy. I was like, whoa. That kind of took me aback a little bit. The Emperor. The Hanged Man. Straight away, this person has some seriously strong energy. Wow. We have the Queen of Swords. And then you know what I heard? So do you. So do you. Some strong energy. The Two of Swords. The 8 of Pentacles. And the 5 of Cups. And I'm not laughing at the 5 of Cups. It's not like a laughing card, but right away I'm getting so much information about this person and your connection. So what I was getting was that you're not expecting anything. You're not looking. You're not wanting. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really sure if you know why you clicked on this, right? Like why? Like maybe it was just curiosity, or maybe that you came in with some like cynicism or something. I don't know. But this is not something that you're looking for at all. You're just like, yo, I do not want a connection. I do not want anything. I'm focused on my work, my life, my job, whatever. I'm not focused on that at all. And there may be even remnants of an old connection that you think about here and there. It doesn't feel like you're still in it. Doesn't feel like you're caught up in it. It's like a memory of a past relationship that you want no parts of. There's something that you just like, no, I don't want a connection. I don't want to interact. I like my life the way it is. I want to keep it that way. That's the vibe I'm getting straight up from you. There's just not even a consideration. I mean, you look at these 4 cards, you know, she's looking this way, her eyes are blindfolded, she's looking down, she's also looking down, I think her eyes may even be closed too. There's just like no entertaining someone at all. And so I get this person coming in hot and heavy. They come in strong and they are stuck on you. But they're not inappropriate anyway. I do get a very respectful vibe from them. But I think that's what they like about you, is your sort of no-nonsense approach to life. You're very just like strict even. You just don't want to deal with anybody at this time. But what's standing out to me is the face of this Hanged Man looks a lot like this face here on her throne. I'm gonna show you up close. If you look, you see that, and if I put it upside down, although this, I just noticed this Hangman is winking. Can you see? Why it's not, it won't really focus. I guess like that's as good as it'll get. But you can kind of see, they look so similar. This is giving me the feeling of like your guides, your spiritual guides or your spiritual team kind of being up to something for you. But I do find it interesting that this figure here their eyes are closed, and there is a sense of sadness there. You can, of course, see that with the Five of Cups. This does feel like it stems from something in your past. And it may not even have been something that you were personally involved with. You could have saw this happen a lot in your life. You could have witnessed a lot. You could have had someone very close to you go through something very painful. And that could have impacted you in a way where you just, you were just not going to get involved with anyone or be interested in it. It's just a strong focus on yourself. But it does feel like a lot of walls up. Like you don't want to get too close to anyone. You don't want anyone to get too close to you. It's very stubborn too. You just, and not in a bad way. I actually don't see stubbornness as a bad thing. It can be, of course, but anything can be bad, when it's excessive. But I'm just getting really strong boundaries, very strong boundaries, and again, it's just so interesting to pick up on this energy, on this type of reading, because it makes me curious, like, what made you click on it, because it's such a strong wall up. But then there's this person, this emperor, and they came through right away, first card out, and the hangman. This is something that's going to stick with you for a while. I'm getting like your armor gets penetrated by their intensity. There's also a little bit of a sexual nature to that, what I just said. And I was kind of getting a sexual energy from the Hanged Man. If you know, you know. And speaking of which, the Emperor carries such a strong sexual energy too, being Aries and being masculine. There's a strong feeling of taking the initiative, and it's not to say that they're gonna just be so forward with you and make that sort of proposition. It's more so that they're very interested and there's a very passionate feeling to them, and they sort of see through your armor. They see through this hard shell, this hard exterior, just like, and it's funny, I was just about to do it myself and I just saw the Two of Swords. It's just like this X, like this two hands up over your chest, over your body. You're blind, your eyes blinded. You don't want to interact at all, but they see through that, and they see you through that. They see your vulnerability deep down within. What I like about their energy is it doesn't feel like they expose it at all. It feels like they sort of work with it. Like they know how to talk to you. They know how to interact with you in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming or intrusive. It's very, like I said, that was one of the first things that came through. It's very respectful. They very much respect you and your boundaries. And you know what's so funny? This goes back to this, the gem you picked. There's an opening. They see an opening in your armor, and they know how to work with that. That's crazy. That's so crazy. They see a little peek into who you are inside. Oh my god, that's reminding me of this movie. It's a really old movie. It's called Deliver Us from Eva. And that was that's the exact dynamic I'm getting. It's with LL Cool J and Gabrielle Union, and it's a comedy. It's a funny movie, but the dynamic between the two that was the exact vibe she was on. She was like no nonsense, and he was kind of different. He was kind of goofy. Now I'm not getting, well, I don't know about goofy. It's been a really long time since I've seen that movie, but I don't necessarily get that vibe from this person. It's not quite as much as them, but the part where he kind of sees her soft side and he can tap into it, that's what I'm getting from this. There's that dynamic of getting through to you in a way that no one else has. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper here because this is interesting. Let's see if we can get some more information on how this happens. Okay, I'm getting to take these two. So see. 8 of Cups. Okay. 10 of Wands. 9 of Swords. Chariot. 9 of Cups. Love to see that. And 2 of Pentacles. Okay. So what I was getting right away from this was, this person brings up a lot in you, a lot of feelings that you've been burying away, a lot of triggers. I'm not saying they don't trigger you. They, how do I say it? They just bring up old triggers, if that makes sense. Things that, a lot of fears, things that you were holding in. I just want to phrase this the right way. They make you confront why you've been so guarded. And at first it's going to feel really uncomfortable. I don't see this coming out so much together. It feels like you two interact in some way, have some conversations, or maybe you even, go on a date or something, and it feels like afterwards, when you're by yourself, after the two of you, interact, that's when it all comes up. And even when you are together, you may sort of feel that coming up, but when you're by yourself, it all kind of pours out, and that part is going to feel uncomfortable but cathartic. It's going to feel good to face that and begin to release it, begin to rewrite that, because it's something that's been in you for a long time. I'm getting this sort of the sense that you may have grown up in a toxic environment. Maybe your parents didn't have a very healthy relationship, or maybe one of your parents was in a not great relationship, or maybe, I don't know, I just see you witnessing something that had a huge effect on you, and this is you as a child, and I'm seeing it happen again and again, recycling over and over again as you got older with other people in your life, your friendships, your relatives, your siblings even. There's something about you seeing this over and over and over again, and every time you see it that kind of pushed that feeling in you even more, this fear of not wanting to be like that, not wanting to go through the same thing, this feeling of just, that's not going to be me, I'm not going to do that. And so you've kept yourself very guarded, with your walls all the way up, and that was more than a sense of security. That was a sense of strength for you. This was your power source, was that you weren't going to go through that. And it's not to say that you felt like you were better than anybody else. It's just you feel like you learned from that. You learned from that, and you were going to do different than that. And that was your motto. That was your life for a long time. And then you meet this person who makes you confront that, and then makes you want to shift it in a way, heal it in a way, because this person lets you know that it can be different with you. It can be different for you. It can be different moving forward, because not every dynamic is the way that you've witnessed it, and that can be something that you logically know, but emotionally that's a different story. Emotionally, we only really know what we've experienced or what we've witnessed. It's a lot different than our logic. And so emotionally, you've been holding on to this because it's all you've ever really known. And this person comes in to show you something different. And you know that right away, because you sense it, you feel it. There are just different ways to the way they approach you, the way they speak to you, the way they work with you, It's very is very different than anything else you would have witnessed or experienced. And I can see you going from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups, which is such a beautiful thing, right? Because this is your emotional body overcoming these fears here, this baggage that you've been holding on to. This is you moving through that, even with the Chariot, but the Chariot, this is giving me the dynamic between the two of you. Even here you can see the cross. This is like aid coming in to help you. This is a partnership that is aligned and is different. It's just so different than what you would have expected. And it allows you, because I think what you always needed was just to see something different, to know something different. You had this like belief system, and it was constantly being reaffirmed by the experiences around you, by the people around you, and so finally seeing something different, it like cracks that, it cracks that armor that's like, whoa, I didn't think that, I didn't know that, I didn't think that for me I could experience something different. So that allows you to start healing that and begin to move past that and allow yourself to experience that, experience something different, something beautiful, something very fulfilling and healthy. Very, very healthy and balanced. That's the thing I think that I troubled you the most in what you've seen, is that a lot of the relationships you've seen have been very imbalanced. Even if they weren't toxic, they were imbalanced. And that's something that rubbed you the wrong way. Because you're a very strong person. You're a very, you hold yourself in high regard, as you should. And you expect that in return. And I think that's where there may have been a little bit of a hiccup, where you've just seen dynamics that were one up, one down, just very imbalanced. And this connection, it just shows you that these balanced relationships can happen. They can exist. Like I said, you're a very strong person. The person that's coming in is a very strong person. I think you may have been under the impression that two strong personalities cannot go together, and they're here to show you differently that you two definitely can go together. You definitely can work together, and it can be a very beautiful thing. Because you could even see here in the Nine of Cups, 4 cups here, 4 cups here, and you sort of holding this cup of fulfillment. Like, it's this sense of, I never thought it could really be this way. I never thought I could really have something like this. I didn't think something like this even existed. And it just feels really good. This connection gives you such a good feeling. And it teaches you a lot, as well as softens you. It softens you quite a bit. So we're going to get into some oracle cards just to see if there's any more messages or to clarify anything. Take these two and these two. You got a bunch of cards. Okay. More than I thought. Wow. All right. Okay. So you have navigation. You have banish a curse. Jeez. Okay, this is what I was saying. Because I'm getting with navigation that this is how you've been going about your life. Like, you had it all set. Like, I think you may have felt like you had it figured out, that this is just how it was going to be, and you just wanted no parts of it. Banish a curse, like, this is just something that you were under the impression of because of what you've been through. And this person is just, you see this? Learn the truth. This person shows you something different, that it doesn't have to be that way. You have resilience, wisdom. I'm so neurotic about, like, the cards, which is really annoying because there's no way you can just have it be perfect. Like, you move one, you move a bunch of other ones. Anyway, knowledge. You have such, like, they all sort of echo the same thing. And it's all about your impression. This is what I was saying, that you thought things couldn't be this way. I love how I automatically went to learn the truth when I said that. And this person shows you that it can. And it just clears out so much for you. You've been holding on to this for so long. I love that we have Banish your Curse over the Ten of Wands. You've been carrying this for way too long. It is time for something new. It is time for you to experience something new. Something that you deserve. Something that is beautiful and light and carefree, you know, and fulfilling. Yeah. I love resilience in this because it makes me I feel it in you. This, once you realize that things can be different, that there's something different, you are all in and you push forward, because there's a strong resistance, right, at first, where you want no parts, right? But then when you start to feel things shift for you and you feel something different, something better aligned with you, then you're all in with overcoming this obstacle for you, overcoming that guard, you know, that boundary, that armor. And you learn. It's such a feeling of I just keep getting that over and over and over again. You never thought it could be this way, and then you realize that it can, and you're just completely devoted to that. It's almost to the point where you want to help others achieve that, where you want to share this wisdom, this knowledge, because you were in a certain situation. You may go into a position where you help others get out of toxic situations, get out of unhealthy situations, or the imbalanced dynamic, because, you know, I'm getting that it's not just you who thought it had to be that way. Like I said, I get this feeling of that's how you grew up, and that's your environment, that's sort of the people around you, that's the dynamic. And you break out of that, and then you begin to help others break out of that. And the person that you're with is that they have such a strong, like a pillar or an anchor kind of energy, where they just help you do what you want to do. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm almost getting like a security guard kind of feeling from them. Like nobody better mess with you. Because they care so much about what you're doing and how you feel and what you experience. They're very protective of you. That may be something that you hadn't experienced before either, because that feels very new to you, where you always felt like you had to protect yourself. That's where that guard comes in, right? You're protecting yourself. And so now feeling like someone else can and will and is dedicated to protecting you, now you can soften up a bit. And now you can expand, and you can reach, and you can go further, and you can do more, because it's not just you anymore with this same, I guess, ideology, the same mentality. There's someone there with you who shares that view, shares that vision, and not only supports you, but holds you, you know, carries you, lets you rest, lets you relax, lets you know that you don't have to do it all alone. And that just changes everything for you. It shifts everything. And it's gonna be a life-changing experience, because you were not expecting it at all. That was the first thing I got from your reading, was that you just were not expecting it. But I think it's gonna be really beautiful. It's a bit overwhelming, but it's a really beautiful experience, and I think you're gonna be really glad to have gone through it. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I'm getting for your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got what you needed from it. I hope it resonated, and I truly, truly hope to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.